Democrats got some of the worst news in the Commonwealth of Virginia today as the Supreme Court of Virginia has officially strike down the United States House map that was passed by Virginia voters just last month in April. As you know, if you've been watching this channel for a period of time, we've been talking about that April 21st referendum. Following the referendum, we talked about a circuit court ruling, and today it's official. The Supreme Court is saying that Democrats cannot redraw these lines to give Democrats a 10-1 majority in the United States House of Representatives in favor of Democrats there in the Commonwealth of Virginia. The court officially handing down that ruling, saying no to Democrats being able to redraw those maps, and they will still continue under the maps that they have had in the 2022 and 2024 congressional year. Also importantly, those maps were actually drawn by the Supreme Court of Virginia after the Independent Redistricting Commission could not come to an agreement. The Supreme Court of Virginia, same court that made this decision today, decided on the maps that we'll see, that we've seen in the past two election cycles for the House and that we will see in November now. So I want to talk a little bit about what this means for Democrats going into the 2026 midterms, not only nationally, but specifically in Virginia. So if we look at the map for the 2024 congressional races in the Commonwealth of Virginia, we see that Democrats have 6 and Republicans have 5 of the House seats in the Commonwealth of Virginia. The closest of those Republican seats, at least, being Jen Kiggans in Virginia's 2nd and Rob Whitman in Virginia's 1st. If we go back to 2022, similar situation. Jen Kiggans in Virginia's 2nd and Rob Whitman in Virginia's 1st. So I think it's pretty safe to say that out of these states, you would likely assume that Virginia's 9th, Virginia's 6th, and potentially Virginia's 5th are all going to be safe Republican seats, with Virginia's 2nd and Virginia's 1st being competitive. In an environment that's going to be really heavily in favor of Democrats, it's very likely that we see Virginia's 7th, Virginia's 10th, for example, some of the closer races here, we still see them go to Democrats in an election cycle like what we expect to happen in 2026. So don't really think it's important to talk too much about those races, but instead to talk about these Republican seats that Republicans are going to have to put a lot of money to try and keep in. So I want to start by talking about Virginia's 2nd congressional district. If we go back to 2022, Jen Kiggans defeated the then Congresswoman, who is running again in 2026. So this is going to be a really interesting race nonetheless, but won this race in 2022 by 3.4%, went on in 2024 to win it by 3.8%. What does this mean in an environment that's going to favor Democrats? Well, let's go back to 2018, the last time we've seen something like this happen, a Trump presidency in a midterm year. We've seen some really big shakeups. If we go back to 2016, Virginia's 7th was won by the Republican by 15.3 points. Then candidate, now Governor Abigail Spanberger, won that race by 2 points in 2018, flipping it net 17 points, something like that. A shift in favor of Democrats. So an insane shift really there. We're expecting to see similar shifts in 2026 to that of what we've seen in going from 2016 to 2018. Of course, we've seen Virginia's 4th, but Virginia's 2nd was another interesting one where we first seen this race flip. If we go back to Virginia's 2nd in 2016, then the then Congressperson was won the race by 22.9%, and then we go on to 2018, my apologies, and Luria wins it by 2.2%. So significant there nonetheless, but I want to talk a little bit more about what that means going into these midterms this next year. Well, if we go back and we look at that 2018 margin in Virginia's, or actually we'll go back to 2016 for a second, and we look at some of these margins. I mean, we're talking about Virginia's 7th, 15 percentage points. If we have a similar situation to that, we're talking about a realistic possibility that Virginia's 5th is in contention. While I don't necessarily think that's the case yet, I do think that it's an interesting point to make and one that we should definitely keep an eye on. Former Congressman Tom Perillo is running in that race for Virginia's 5th congressional district against John McGuire. He's officially announced that today as this ruling has come down. And this is going to play a significant role in these 2026 midterms, this seat specifically, but of course some of the other ones as well. I say this one specifically because if Democrats are somehow able to flip not only Virginia's 2nd, but also Virginia's 1st, and then come in and win Virginia's 5th, we're talking about a map that's going to favor Democrats 9-2. If you remember at the beginning of this video, I said the map that they tried to pass, well, they did pass, but the court has officially struck down, was a 10-1 map. So really only losing one seat if they're able to win this Virginia's 5th, win Virginia's 1st, and win Virginia's 2nd. I think, of course, like I said at the beginning of this video, I think Virginia's 2nd and potentially Virginia's 1st are the best shots for Democrats. I really don't see Virginia's 5th being in play at this current point. But, of course, we'll talk a little bit more about that in the coming months. But with this, I want to take a look at the 2025 governor's race based off congressional districts, where Abigail Spanberger won the 2nd district that is currently represented by Congresswoman Kiggins by about 6% in the 2025 governor's race. We go over to Virginia's 1st. Abigail Spanberger won it by over 2 percentage points. And then we go to Virginia's 5th. Abigail lost this race by about looks like about 7 percentage points, 6 percentage points, something like that. Of course, my math is not doing fantastic at this point, so correct me in the comments if I am wrong on that, which I'm sure I have a very high likelihood of being wrong. But nonetheless, very significant. If Democrats are able to motivate voters to turn out and vote, there's a real possibility that they flip the 2nd and the 1st district, and there's a real possibility that the 5th district becomes more competitive than people may have previously thought. So, with all of that said, what does it mean in Virginia's 6th, for example? Well, Abigail Spanberger lost that one by almost 20 points. Virginia's 9th, even larger. But in the 5th, in the 1st, and in the 2nd, she, in the 5th, she only lost the race by under 10 percentage points. And then in the 1st and in the 2nd, she won the race by multiple percentage points. So if we go and we make this the new map in Virginia, we're looking at we currently have a 6-5 map. We would be looking at a 8-3 map in the Commonwealth. So still significant wins for Democrats across the board here. Winning, if they're able to win districts like the 2nd, if they're able to win districts like the 1st, it could play a major role in the House shakeup that we'll talk a little bit more about in more videos in the future. But with that said, let me know what you think in the comments below. Did you expect this ruling to come down from the Virginia Supreme Court, or did you believe that they would allow the voters to decide this, and as they did, as voters did decide it, continue with new maps? Let me know what you think in the comments below. Did you expect this ruling from the court or not? And what do you think it means for the Democratic Party heading into the 2026 midterms in just a few months? Let me know all your thoughts in the comments below. I love reading through those, replying back to you guys, and just having a back and forth conversation with you all in the comments below. So with that said, don't forget to like and subscribe on the video, and I will see you guys in the next one. Thank you guys so much for watching.